Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Healing Conversations and Unapologetic Transitions. So, this video has been years in the making. It is something I've sat with for a very long time. It is something that I have had questions about. And I think maybe, just maybe, I might have gotten the answer this morning as I've self-reflected. So what I want to talk about is obesity in the Black church. Now, I understand that obesity is something that plagues us here in America in general. However, as a Black woman and my experience in life being that of the Black experience, I have to be honest, I am concerned. I am concerned because I've witnessed it, and I know I'm not the only one, where we may have a prophet who's sitting giving the prophetic word, or a minister who is morbidly obese giving the word, and those who are on the praise team who are also struggling with obesity. And if our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, why is it that we spend so much talking about sexual immorality and not enough time spending on the discussion of obesity? Gluttony, if you will. As I've been self-reflecting even this morning, it dawned on me. I believe the answer is rooted in legalism, abiding by strict laws. And oftentimes we ignore that still small voice of instruction. I know I have. And being someone who has struggled with her weight for years, I believe I have insight into that situation on both ends, because I've lost weight multiple times. I am in the throes of a weight loss journey, and if I'm honest, over the last couple months, my weight has been climbing once again. I've considered fasting, thinking that would be the answer, thinking maybe this weight struggle is punishment of some sort. But as I've reflected today, I have been assuming that God is leading me to fast and validating my lack of discipline in other areas of my life. I have not been extremely disciplined here lately. I have not been very obedient here lately. Yes, I've been reading my word and I've been interceding. But when it comes to this video, I haven't put it out. Why? Because I guess I was waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time seemed while I was losing weight. And now my weight is going in the other direction again. And so the perfect time, and it is fleeting for me again. So what? I wait another year and another year, all while watching our churches be filled with people who are coming in for a good emotional experience and leaving out with the same problems, the same pain, the same trauma. I believe, just like sex and drugs, food is the drug of choice for some of us. That's our way of soothing. I know for me, it was never about alcohol, because I never liked the taste, nor did I like the feeling of being out of control. I recognize that drugs, in the sense of crack, cocaine, heroin, those types of drugs have never been my drugs of choice. Nor has alcohol been my drug of choice. But sex and food were my drugs of choice. And though I feel like I've gotten the sex situation under control, the food addiction seems to run a bit more rampant, because I've been lacking discipline. And I've been operating from a place of legalism, and I'm not the only one. Again, I ask, why are our churches so filled with obese people? It's concerning to me. It's appalling to me. We have the opportunity to get close to and have an experience with the one who is able to heal us, and yet It is obvious based not on the looks on our face, because many of us know how to dress it up real good and make it seem as though we have nothing going on, but our bodies speak of a different story. My body has been speaking of a different story here lately. My body has been demonstrating that, no, you are lacking discipline. You have been operating from a place of disobedience. Yes, you go to church. Yes, you read your word. Yes, you pray. You do all of these things, but have you healed? Have you gotten to the root of the matter? Have you gotten to the heart of the matter? I don't know about you, but for myself, for a really long time, I thought I could just shout it away, whether I was being honest or not, whether I was being real or not. And yet, those roots were still there. The root of offense, the root of a lacking self-love, the root of the trauma that I endured, the root of unforgiveness. And so when I see these churches filled with people who are also struggling with their weight, I assume that they too have been coming to the church desperate for an answer while avoiding the real root of the problem. I've had many moments, and I often ask myself when I go on these binges or whatever, Janet, what are you eating? Not what cake, cookie, ice cream are you eating, but what trauma are you eating? What emotion are you eating? So I ask you the same. What emotion are you eating? What feeling does food seemingly anesthetize for you? What trauma are you not dealing with? And you mask it behind eating and laughter and having a good shout. I was looking up some statistics, and based on the statistics that I found, it has been proven that men who attend highly emotional, charismatic churches tend to be more likely to flow on the side of obesity. I'm not sure if you heard me or not, but it says that men who attend these charismatic churches full of emotionalism tend to be more obese. I can believe that. But more than that, I know that to be true from the female experience. I see it. I've been it. I am it. Full of emotion, but obvious there's a lack, a breach in the power somewhere. Why are we so big in church? Why? Obviously, to me, and based on a conversation I was having with a good friend this morning, it's because there's no true resolve going on. The church has not been the safest place to disarm. The church has been a place for stones to be cast. We spend so much time talking about homosexuality and judging people based on their addictions, but not addressing the root of the matter. I am thankful for this new church that I am attending. I am thankful to God for my new leaders. But I cannot say that all of my interactions thus far have been that of those who operate from the same place of knowing, from the same place of conviction, from the same place of empathy. Why does the church lack so much empathy? There are so many people hurting in this world, and they should be able to come to church to find a representation of God. We as Christians are supposed to be living epistles read of men. And yet we lack kindness. And it shows. That lack of kindness, it shows in the morphing of the bodies of the lay people, of some of the leaders in these organizations, these businesses, because unfortunately the church has become big business. If you can sing the paint off the wall, you get a leadership position. If you can preach, whether you're sitting down and preaching or not, you get a leadership position. And what has often happened, those people with those leadership positions, they have the opportunity to spew their vitriol because they are unhealed in a lot of cases. They are angry in a lot of cases. And that anger shows in their bodies. It shows in our bodies. I remember many years ago, I was in a deep state of depression. On the inside, I felt like complete garbage. I felt like nothing. And I was going to church. I was desperate to get to the church because for me, I wasn't good enough. I didn't have direct line to God. I didn't understand at that point in time that He did hear my prayers. I would desperately make my way to the church. I remember one time even walking in the rain to get there. And yet still on the inside, I didn't feel like much. In my environment, it showed it. My house was filthy, and my children had to live through that. I was having a good emotional experience for an hour and a half or so, but I was coming back to a place of emptiness. And my 5'2" stature ballooned almost to 300 pounds. If I'm honest, I'm 5'2". 5'2", and I was 263 pounds. And if I don't catch myself now, it would be easy to get back there. If I don't address the root now, if I don't address the root of legalism, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, and in truth, we're not dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's because gluttony is a thing that consumes a lot of us. Gluttony has run rampant in our churches. Again, I think it's because we spend so much time talking about these other sins and not spending enough time discussing how we should maintain and upkeep our temples, the bodies. It's more than just reading the word. What are you eating? What are you consuming? What emotion have you suppressed? I don't know about you, but it is my desire to please God with my life. And being obese, taking a bunch of medicine, I don't believe that pleases Him. And if I'm a person of this world, I would not look to the church for the standard, as the standard of appeal, of beauty. Because not only has many of our lives been the demonstration of what's in our hearts, our bodies reflect what we really believe about ourselves. And if we are made in the image of Christ, supposed to be, would we argue that this is okay? That the obesity rate in the Black church is okay? That the obesity in the church is okay, but especially in the Black church? Some of the nastiest things that I had to endure happened in the church, unfortunately. And sadly, that was simply the fruit of what was done former, maybe to my abuser. And unfortunately, their abuser probably learned it from someone in their past. A lot of what's happened in our community, a lot of what's happened in the church is generational. So when do we stop? When do we truly seek to heal? I was reading a book not long ago, and he talked about small groups. But what good are the small groups if we're not having real life discussions? I don't think we should be deep all of the time. There is a time and a place. But when do we become a safe space for people to come and really lay it out so they can get some true healing? When? Because our bodies are telling on us. Our bodies are telling the truth. Our bodies are saying, yes, you're having a good emotional experience, but you lack the power. You lack the power. There is no change. Yes, you're not cussing anymore. Maybe you're not even being promiscuous anymore, but you're eating that loneliness and it shows. You're eating that self-hate and it shows. You're eating that trauma, the pain left, and it shows. When do we get to the root of the matter? I'm asking you because I'm wondering. For me, the answer lies in my lack of obedience, which is the fruit of my lack of discipline. My lack of discipline is the root of this unhealed stuff. Wanting a good feeling, a temporary feeling, I may add, but not having any power. The word of God reminds us that we overcome him, Satan, by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. When do we, the church, become a safe space for women and men to bear it all and admit that I'm not okay, that I am struggling with this thing and I want to overcome it? Often it is the testimony of the saints that makes it seem as though it can be overcome. I'm just concerned. And this is my act of obedience. Because I recognize that the legalism that I've been operating in is not working. I have to get back to the point of being disciplined. And the discipline is not trying to reach a standard of someone else's expectation. I have a direct line to God. I know what he has told me. For one, like I said, this video has been years in the making. It has been on my mind for a really long time. The fact that so many of us in the church are struggling with our weight. So this is my surrender, God. This is me saying, God, I recognize I've been getting an emotional high, but I have not been implementing the tools that you have given me. Working out, eating the things that I need to eat, taking care of my temple so I can be ready, so I can be in the right position to do what thus saith the Lord as it pertains to my life. Women's empowerment is my area of ministry. That's what I do. But I would argue that it's quite hypocritical to tell a woman that wholeness is the way. Be it whole in her finances, whole in her mental health, whole in her physical health, whole in her home, whole in the way she loves herself, while not taking care of myself. The buck stops here. I'll be 40 in a few months. And it has been my desire to not only reach the peak of my best body, but to maintain it. And to some that's superficial, but to me that's honoring God. That's honoring God. To really make my temple pleasing. To really address the root of my issues. To really be a safe space for women to be able to come and say, you know what, I've struggled with this thing, but I've seen you. I've seen you put in the work to become the best version of yourself. I recognize you to be a disciplined person. A person who loves on herself. A person who loves herself enough to go to the doctor if she will. To go to the gym and to eat nutritious foods. I'm concerned. I think we all should be concerned. Why are we Christians so fat?